First of all, I think your analysis was very straight line. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing funds.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Akash Persaud, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD.
I got that.
Calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Come on, Lou Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
the
an
Guyanese Critic.
erratic
Mikhail
detective is Mikhail Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? Look, girl, how you deal with that? You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
Kingdom, you apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that. Hi there, welcome to our Friday call-in edition of the show, the Freddie Kissoon Show with co-host Akash Persaud, and we've had a steady visit in the form of government MP Dharam Kumar Siraj, advisor to the Ministry of Local Government and Deputy Chairman of GWI. So he has been gracing our studio quite often, and we welcome him because we notice whenever he's on, there is a number of complaints, and that is important because he gets some of them solved. So please call in tonight and put your complaints to Siraj. Siraj has a couple of months more. Don't forget, he becomes Guyana's High Commissioner to India. So we'll ask him as much as possible to come here on Friday evening, and we would suggest to you, call him, berate him, persuade him, implore to get your problem solved. He is the Deputy Chairman of GWI, and he has jurisdictions over the NDCs because they come under the Ministry of Local Government. So we show some videos, make some comments, and then we open the floor. Number one, we start with a Palestinian woman. I will ask our operator to put her photograph on the screen. Operator,
Yeah.
can you put this lady? She's coming up. We'll tell you about what happened to her. And you'll be amazed to know what happened to her. While our operator may be experiencing some technical difficulties. Here she is. Now, that woman is a Palestinian woman married to an Egyptian man, and they're living in Guyana. She is a strong supporter of Palestinian statehood, Palestinian rights, and she has spoken at 5 Palestinian events in Guyana. We have had her on our program as a guest, and guess what happened? The Jordanian government contacted her. She was born in Jordan, but she's Palestinian. Her siblings, her parents are Palestinians. And on the program, she talked about how the Jordanians treat Palestinians. And the Jordanian government got in touch with her, and nice things were not said to her. And she conveyed to us that the program has to come off the internet. Well, of course, we obliged and took the program off the internet. But the question is how the Jordanian government knew about the Freddie Kissoon show in Guyana. Here is my take. These shows are being monitored by Western embassies, so they know all about the 6 or 7 Palestinian interviews we put on. And I think video clip of this program was sent to the Jordanian government, and Jordanian intelligence did their work. So we had to take the program off the internet. So these programs are being monitored, but the show must go on. We don't care. We will say what we have to say. Now, quickly, we will say what we have to say. Quickly, just briefly, there has been an exchange of prisoners between Russia and the United States. It's interesting to see the write-up of the prisoner exchange. All the persons that have been accused of spying and were arrested in Russia, the Western media have them as wrongfully imprisoned. But none of the Russian people that were imprisoned, the Western press didn't say a thing about wrongfully imprisoned. So all the Americans and Western people that were arrested in Russia, they were wrongfully arrested. None of them were spying. But the Russians that were released, they were spying. You see how international journalism slant the news, so you have to be careful. So there are no spies in the world spying for the United States. It appears that there's only one country that sends spies to spy around the world for that country, Russia. So, strange world we live in. No spies from the United States, but plenty spies from Russia. You know, if it wasn't for professional ethics, I could have put an adjective to that nonsense. But here are some video clips. Now, the First Lady spent dozens and dozens of millions to make a part of Guyana very nicely. I'm on that seawall every night. And if you count the heads that visit that place every month, thousands. But there has to be a regime that maintains the place and make sure there's law and order. Now, a guy right in the middle of that lovely esplanade, excuse me, lovely esplanade, a guy put a hammock there and sleeping there. Once you reach the place, you see the hammock. Now, he did that. You know, in another 2 months, 3-4 hammocks going up. And to think there, isn't there anyone from the project office of the First Lady to remove that hammock? Now, that is one. There are a number of benches in which you can sit and look out to the Atlantic Ocean. You're literally feet away from the Atlantic Ocean. We showed this thing 3 months ago. A man took over one of the bench, put tarpaulin and sleeping and living there. And we showed this thing 3 months and he's still there. Right at one of the most beautifully architectured public space in the entire Guyana, in which dozens and dozens of millions was spent in that place, but it looked like it's Chateau's land. A man goes sling a hammock and he's sleeping there. When you park and you bring out your family to walk on the esplanade, there is he sleeping right there. And it appears that in this country, no one can move him or no one can tear down the tarpaulin that the man put on the bench that overlooks the Atlantic Ocean. Look at that. That we showed that thing 3 months ago. Look at the benches. Families and lovers go and sit on that bench and look at the mighty Atlantic. The man is living on that bench. He chose, I'm not saying that we should throw him in the sea, but he can find someone's way to live and not desecrate a beautiful part of Guyana where thousands of people go every month. But the frightening thing is there any agency that can move him? Right at that place has a police outpost. The government furnished that outpost with surveillance camera. The police told Akash and I and the crew that went down there, that is not their job. So people can go there, put down hammock, put down a bed, and sleep on the esplanade, dirty the place, and that is not the job of the police. What is the job of the police? I am at that place every night, and let me tell you something. I don't know what that police outpost does, but that's it. Now, you know, some organizations in this country do not understand what is the dialectic. The dialectic is an important philosophical process. Whether you're Marxist or not, the dialectic is intrinsic to society, to social movement. And some people in this country believe that African Guyanese belong to them. African Guyanese would only support African organizations. But the dialectic has changed Guyana tremendously since Irfan Ali became president. And he's reaching out to people. Now, for all that you're hearing about the PPP doesn't like black people, the PPP isn't spending all money on black people, look at African Guyanese reaction to leaders of the government. Look at these clips. No, that was President Ali among African Guyanese in one of the emancipation programs. Is this a man that African Guyanese do not like? Is this a man that African Guyanese have bought the narrative that he is anti-African and his government is anti-African? Did you see 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 people there? Did you see that crowd? Did you see anyone with a placard saying, down with President Ali? But there are organizations in this country that want to tell you that no, PPP leaders, Indian leaders of this government don't have any traction among African Guyanese, and there you have it for yourself. That man went up to New Amsterdam for Matrimony Day celebration, and you should see the embrace, the welcome, the fusion. That is why I mentioned the dialectic. It's too complex to explain the dialectic, but the dialectic is changing this country, and that thing where Indians and Africans cling only to their respective organizations 60 years ago, that thing is dying. And the French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, one of the best philosophers of the 20th century, said this, and this is important. He says, the dialectic makes man, but man at a particular juncture makes the dialectic. And Irfan Ali is making the dialectic in Guyana. Let's show you some more clips of how people welcome their leaders, not their Indian or African leaders, their leaders. Sorry, I said Matrimony, emancipation. So we showed you 2 clips here. Let's show you a man of the moment, Anil Nandalal in action. So that's Anil Nandalal, part of the emancipation celebration. The highlight of those celebrations, of course, is the National Park and then New Amsterdam. And the president was in New Amsterdam. And you should take a look of the videos and the still photographs of the president among African Guyanese. I'm telling you, the 2025 national elections are going to shock some people. Jean-Paul Sartre says, the dialectics make us, and we make the dialectics in the process. And I honestly feel that Guyana didn't cater for the uniqueness of Irfan Ali. But we're going to open our lines after any more videos.
Yeah, we got one with the Semshi Road is coming along nicely, man. And we did a video this morning, progress. report on what's happening there. And I passed there just now, and they're working right now, even in the nights.
Somebody had to put fire in them.
I think it's a little bit with the wheelbarrow get the contract.
That's looking good.
Yeah, so they're working.
They still have to complete this bridge here.
Right, but the other bridge at
By the police outpost?
no, by Sussex Street. So they're working. They're working at night, and then you can see.
Tell Robert he has to put in other. Robert, Siraj's phone number has to go up there.
Yeah.
You got it? You got it, or you want it?
No, he has it.
Please put up Siraj.
All right, I'm gonna send it. Yeah. So that's what's happening here at did you see the other part, the other bridge already cast?
Well, this project missed several deadlines, so let's hope that it comes through.
So we're gonna open the lines. We're going to put Siraj
647
Siraj number on the screen. We have two WhatsApp numbers. 647 4397.
It's up there.
652-1314. Those are our two WhatsApp numbers. Then there's a landline. The phone lines are now open. Call and put your problems to a very important man in the government of Guyana. He is the local government ministry advisor, which means he has capacity to get things done if the local government, municipalities or NDCs are letting us down. Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Remember the ancient mariner? We had to do that for GC. I did GC, I didn't do CXC.
We have a caller coming in.
Okay.
Caller, good evening, you're on the air.
Hey, good night.
Good night.
You are Freddie and Akash.
Yeah, good evening.
Hey, I'm calling to understand some things, man. Right? We get some rules that some entities must follow. So let's talk about the procurement rule, the Procurement Act. Right? And there's blatant, they're not following these rules. Plainly, they're not following these rules as it's set out. And you're not really seeing anything being done, even if you raise concerns. Nothing is not being done about it. So I'm wondering if there's any backlash to these procuring entities that don't follow these rules. How do you measure when things are not being followed?
Well, caller, first of all, you're correct. There have been a lot of complaints about irregularities that relates to procurement. And the Vice President himself has concluded a number of meetings in regions 2, 3, 5, and 6. I myself attended 2 of the meetings in 5 and 6, and it's definitely cause for concern. And that is why he held those meetings, to let people know that there are rules to be followed. So we have NPTAB, that is the National Procurement and Administration Board. Then you have the PPC, which is the Public Procurement Commission. And we also have recently established a bid protest committee. So if in the process of tendering for a government job, that a bidder, a person who submitted a tender, feels that in some way that he was slighted, he can appeal immediately to the Public Procurement Commission. The Public Procurement Commission will then activate the process, which involves the agency or ministry responsible for that particular job. And if it warrants further investigation, then it is sent on to a bid protest committee, which will investigate the nature of the complaint of the person who have tendered and felt in one way or the other that fairness and transparency did not occur. So I'll close at that, but to let you know also that there is merit in the point that you raised, and that is why the Vice President himself went out there to let contractors, several meetings with contractors know, and let people know that if you're in any way aligned with the process, you must declare a conflict of interest and must not take part in any way in that process.
I understand, but let me talk in terms of timeliness now. For big projects,
right,
there's an NPTAB website where you could know when to do a big protest, when to, start raising concerns or irregularities. However, when it comes to smaller projects, there is a higher chance of irregularity because there's no way for the public to have access to this information readily. And when you're asking for this information, you're being basically chastised by the procuring entity.
Right. So you mean these are tenders that did not reach the level of NPTAB? That's at the national level. You're talking about the regional level. At the regional level.
Yeah.
But I rather suspect that at the regional level also, there is a similar mechanism in place, because if you tender for a job, there must be a public opening of the tenders. If there's a public opening of the tenders...
The Procurement Act also states that you can request this information.
Correct.
You're working with the rules, right?
Correct. And that is why we have the rules to allow for transparency and accountability to govern this process. And I would advise that, if any contractor persons listening, not only yourself, sir, but anyone, that they should make use of the mechanism that are in place to register that protest immediately with the Public Procurement Commission. Thank you very much for coming through.
Come back to it. You cut off?
No, we ain't cut off, but...
Yeah, so when we request these things, sometimes they're not being answered. So this come back to, again, these policies and things that we spoke about earlier. So the next issue I want to raise, man, so let me come off this a little bit, because we already answered. Right? So Freddie raised this issue with these this hammock on the seawall and the people throwing garbage all over, and then this man set up a whole house on one of the benches and sleeping there. And I listened to the show, and the show, excerpts from this show, reaching a whole other country in Jordan. But yet, still, Freddie raising this thing for a couple of months now.
And it didn't reach evil areas yet.
And it didn't reach evil areas yet.
Well, you have a good point.
If the government really get any power in saying, in controlling its officials in any way. Take another example, right? We get all these big projects going now. We grasp all these projects and things. We ain't saying we're not glad, right? But when something's going over time, take, for example, this crane around the boat. We had, I see on the president's page, he published that it's sort of being done by the end of July. It's either, now it's August, and we didn't get it roundabout yet. The road ain't finished. They close off a whole lane now. So I'm wondering whether the government actually gets any power in saying, or they just taking, sweet talk from the contractors right now. The contractors saying, hey, we can finish for this month, but they know to themselves it's not finishing. Because the reason I'm raising this is because it's inconveniencing people. Imagine somebody goes to move the guy from the bench, and now, it's threatened to be stopped. Imagine if kids are so walking about on the Esplanade.
Right.
So that was the next issue. You're wondering how programs like these are enabling people to raise their concerns, but nothing is really being done per se. But we know the show is being watched.
Well, we know the show is being... I think they think it's a small matter, but, small things get big. And that's what Freddie said earlier. There's one hammock now. You might turn up tomorrow and see 2 or 3 or 4. and you have one bench covered now, next day you might have two of
You
them.
call it nip it in the bud.
Correct. You need to nip it in the bud. So, caller, thank you very much for coming through.
All right, I'll take care.
Yeah, all right.
Right.
Good evening, caller. You're live on air.
Hello, good night, brother. How are you?
Good evening. Yes.
I want to make a comment.
Yes.
About this show that you guys had on Wednesday with this guy they call James Bond, right? I mean, you got to give him a little platform, but this guy is a Burnham in the making, and people should understand that. Number two, I don't know if you guys can get the president or the Guyana government to get like flights to come in at a cheaper rate in Guyana for the election so that people can come in and vote and come out back. Okay?
Well, there are good suggestions, caller, but the responsibility of a government is to hold elections when they're constitutionally due, and to make, I think, create an environment where every person who is on the voters list should be able to exercise their franchise, to ensure that everyone who is of age is on that list. So they have a number of responsibilities, and whilst I rather suspect that responsibility would also be to encourage people to come back, those who are overseas and all of that. So, but to go and to arrange flights and all of that, that's not a responsibility of the government. The government is to create the environment for free, fair, and transparent elections.
Yeah, maybe I put it.
Now, a political party might have a particular interest, but that's for the political parties to do.
Yeah, but the reason I'm saying this, people come with Caribbean Airline, and Caribbean Airline charge them like double the amount of money to come there.
It is a problem. I mean, you can travel,
and that's the problem.
Yeah, you can travel 3 times or 4 times the distance for half the price in other parts of the world.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
that's what I'm concerned about.
Your concern has embedded into it another concern. The government arranges cheap flights for people to come and vote, and then the ruling parties are opening itself to criticism. You see, they won the election because they bring in a whole set of cheap flights for people to come and vote. We better leave that.
I know.
I
know what you're saying, Freddie.
We better leave that alone.
I know what
you're giving giving the opposition a chance to cry wolf when they lose, and they are going to lose.
Well, them that cry wolf since in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Don't get them. Don't get them more ammunition.
Right, but it's a good idea. I mean, I think it's in the interest of political parties to take this sort of action that you're outlining and move it from there. But like I said, the government responsibility is to do all that it can to ensure people are registered, that polling places are available, that the process is free, fair, and transparent.
Yes, but think about it. You had James Bond there on Wednesday telling lies like Burnham. So, right?
Well, some people are stranger to the truth. So,
right? So, thank you very much, and we'll see what we can do here.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Caller, good night. You're on the air.
Good night. How you doing?
Okay.
I have a question. I saw the election. What's in the court? It's been going on like for 4 years now, and the next election is coming next year. What's going on with that case in the court?
Well, luckily it has started, or admittedly belated, and there's a saying that justice delayed is justice denied. So the executive, which is the government, has expressed concern about the judiciary, which is the magistracy and all of that, and the courts about the slow pace of some of these trials. And it's something that we all have to work towards addressing. One way of doing that is to make more judges available to sit in these courts and to deal with the backlogs. And I think only a few weeks ago, about 10 or 12 new judges were sworn in. Right there at GWI, where I serve as a member of the board, our corporate secretary, who has a lot of experience in law and a qualified lawyer, he left that job to take up a position in the High Court. So whilst we lament the loss at GWI, we also felt that it was for the greater good in terms of addressing these backlogs. So that election case has started. Luckily, it has started. We hope that it can be concluded at the earliest opportunity. But, sir, yes, your concern is noted, and I said earlier that we have a lot of backlog in the judicial system there.
Yeah, because I was there in Guyana, because I'm coming from Canada.
Right.
I was there in Guyana in 2000, right? And I speak to Ramjatan myself and ask him the majority of 65. I have video where I ask him and he run from me. He can't answer my question.
Well, he knows the answer, it's just that the answer did not suit his purpose at that time.
Right. So now we are overseas here now. Worry about, is these same people will sit on that election next year?
Well, definitely not. The persons who were found to have been allegedly compromised are no longer within the system, and their trials are now going on to see whether they are criminally liable for their actions. And thank you, caller, for expressing that concern. It's a concern that we all share.
Let me call this lady.
So indeed, these cases have been going on for called up 4 years. The PPP election petition case for 2015, that's nothing.
Hello, good evening. Can you turn the what we're hearing ourselves? Can you turn the device down, please?
Turn your
Ma'am, you gotta turn it. Whatever you're listening to, you have to turn it off or turn it because we can't hear you.
No.
You have a call there?
I think I have a
Caution.
caller. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, good evening. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
All right. Good evening, gentlemen. Mr. Freddie, Mr. Akash, and
Good night.
Co-host, Mr. Siraj. How you guys are doing?
We're doing fine.
Soon ambassador to India.
Yeah.
Questions. But let me leave the first question, the question for last. But two suggestions. With the caller talking about bringing in flights or so, right? It's not a government duty to bring in to go for cheap flights. But what I think, being on the business level, I think election is sometime or it should be around next year, November. Is that correct?
yeah.
Well, it's constitutionally due anytime after August.
The vice president said it's likely to be in November next year.
I would want to suggest why would we want to run any election, and this has happened in the past. Why would we want to run an election close to any big or major holiday like Christmas? You know, it can cause tension, it can cause so much of chaos. That's just on the business level. And if you look at it on the right side, I think it might be a positive to go after election, because the government had, I think in 2020, the government sworn in on the 2nd of August, which is
5 months after.
Today. It's today. In fact, I think it's today, right?
Correct.
2nd of August, yeah.
So, Freddie, you should said happy anniversary.
I put it on a little late. I don't know if Freddie did say that. So what I think, if you check 5 months from today, how long is it going to run? In January?
Caller, that was an extraordinary election. That's very likely not to happen again.
No, what I meant is that the government, and I wouldn't want to say the PPP, the government should got back that 5 years, that 5 months.
That's why we're saying that the elections are constitutionally due in August, which is 5 years. Right.
I think it should be in January though, and then you can get cheap flights because who fly a lot know that the peak season or the off-peak season is off.
Caller, you know, outside of elections, I think it's the interest of the government to bring cheap flights in for all Guyanese to travel at all times.
That's
that is why they have bring new airlines.
The former U.S. ambassador, the one that just left, said it's cheaper for a flight from here to Miami than to visit Kaichua.
Right. So it is. I mean, the government has done a lot to bring in new airlines. American Airlines is here flying. They have, I think, 2 other new airlines, and the more the merrier. So outside of the election cycle, it's very much in the interest of the government to have cheap flights coming here. We're building an immense hotel infrastructure, tourism infrastructure, and all of that, and we will need people to come here. One way of getting people to come here is low-cost flights.
Tourism, I want to see Kaichua, but I can't afford that flight.
Right.
My second point that I want to make quickly is that if you cross the Demerara Harbor Bridge,
right,
and you look, because I'm in contracts, so I'm not doing contract present, but I will start soon. And if you look to the left side and you see the bridge that is going on, massive structure, whatever it's doing, right?
Correct.
But my question now to even contractors, to the government, us the citizens, the steel that is being used that the Chinese use, that steel is being so full of rust and up there for weeks and months, and that is going down there. I mean, you know, it cannot bind together with concrete and steel once it has rust in it. What are we doing with that? That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be getting with all these billions of dollars that are going to be spent on that bridge. That's just a question for me. That's not a political stuff. I'm not attacking because I'm saying that's a factual statement.
No, well, we're paying a lot of money for that bridge, and we're paying overseas-based consultants to ensure that everything is being done according to the bid document and according to specifications.
No, I'm not saying bid document here.
No, I'm talking the bid documents will have the specification, and the consultant will have to ensure.
We are talking generally about the steel rod that is being used there. I'm not saying it's wrong steel rod. I'm saying it could be the right stuff, but if you look at the rust, are they putting on the rust to get it off back before they put the cement on that? Akash lives over the river. Maybe he can when he's passing tomorrow, just take a look at what I'm seeing.
No, I see it every day. I see what you're talking about every day, but like Siraj is saying, though, whatever
you must have quality control.
I'm seeing a lot of people, because some of the people that stays around my area there too, I see them going out every morning, so I'm thinking that there are checks and balances for everything there. So
no, listen, I'm not saying that. I'm bashing the government. The government is doing a fantastic job.
No, we understand the point you're making.
We have to address these things.
Right.
So I hope somebody is listening to me. Somebody is going to make a point that what he said is a very valid point. You might hear how much comments will go on about this, but I am concerned because what if somebody's on the bridge, somebody's family is on the bridge, should something go wrong 5 years from now?
No, right? You don't. Exactly. Right.
Right. I'm just saying we're Guyanese. One life loss is too many for our population.
Correct.
So I'm just saying now we can.
And it's a massive project, so you want the highest quality material to be used there.
Okay, you said
every time I come to town, so it's a concern for me.
You said you have a question.
Yeah, my question. What I would like to know, I know you're going to be the ambassador for India, and pretty soon. And I think it's just my opinion. When you look at all the ambassadors that we have in different or various countries, and we're going to use like the ABC countries like US, Canada, UK, and now you're going to India. What is the major role of an ambassador? I mean, I'm going to come off here because I want to listen to what you're going to say. I want to come off here as I ask my question. What is the role? What is the role of the ambassador? And of course, India, right now the US is taking a lot of people from India in the technology world. And I'm hoping that under your stewardship as the India High Commissioner, you can bring or try to facilitate us with some of those expertise. That's my question.
But I hope,
want to listen to you because
when you come off, I hope that's a lecture room explanation. What is the role of an ambassador? For him to explain, we have to break and take the call. Okay, thanks, sir. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for the question.
Look, there's a call.
Yeah, thanks, Raj.
Well. Caller, good night. You're on the air.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I was just listening. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was just listening to this, the last call about this steel getting rust.
Yes.
And that's a normal thing. When you come to New York City here and people do construction all over the place, that's a normal thing. That doesn't mean the steel becomes inferior to the state best. You know, to get steel done like this in recent months, obviously. Another thing I want to say is this. Well, I'm in New York City. When I came from Guyana back over here back in the 80s, because, you know, those were desperate times. We had to line up, and I don't know if you guys work co-op shop. We had to line up to get a power slab. You know, like that.
KSC.
Never really realized.
KSL.
Yeah, they never really.
No, the Sharing Institute. KSI. No, the Sharing Institute.
Nothing is perfect in this world. Nothing. Even the top country in the world, they have flaws and hiccups. Any construction they do, or anything they do. But the thing is, certain people believe that everything got to be smooth sailing. Everything got to be smooth sailing. Oh my God. This still happening in Guyana right now.
Well, the caller expressed a concern, which I think is valid. He says that he saw steel with rust being taken there to build that bridge. And we know steel that is rusty, will cause some problem with the concrete. But they have treatment. That you have something called rust out. It's a chemical that you apply and the rust goes, and then it depends on how progressive the rust is, how long it has been there. In a salty environment, you don't want you don't want your steel rods to be exposed to a salty environment.
Yeah, because some people believe, most people believe that Chinese product is very inferior. But
the caller didn't say anything about Chinese product. He said that the steel come there, they put it down, the rainfall, it get wet, it allowed to get rust. And he expressed the concern that, you know, you should not be using steel that is rust on your construction unless you treat it or get rid of the rust. He didn't say anything at all about Chinese material.
One more point I want to make. A lot of people believe in Guyana because the Chinese are like a construction inferior. No. You know what the China right now? China. Because of China, it's some astonishing places.
My brother, the United States' largest trading partner is China. And they won't share trade with a country that produces inferior goods. You know, there's a saying that good thing not cheap and cheap thing not good. So if you want cheapness, you know, get good thing. Right? And they're like I said, the caller, at no time did the caller spoke anything about Chinese product.
Very good, excellent job, and I appreciate all of this to you guys.
Thank you very much for coming.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Caller, good evening. You're live on air.
Hello, good night, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I don't know if you will understand what someone is on the air with me or
Go ahead. We're listening to you.
Okay. In relation to this election matter, what is going on right now? And I am given evidence in a matter to tell the court what happened.
Right.
I cannot see that I Paul, Peter, and Harry was there, and I can't call their name. You know where I'm coming from?
We don't know where. If you're going to give evidence, you have to give evidence based on what you know. That's my understanding.
Yes, but when they don't want to hear that we name this lawyer.
Yeah, we have a number of calls coming in, so you want to get your point over as quickly as possible.
Yes. So what I'm speaking about is when the woman are given the evidence, because they don't want you to call court. Sorry, but I'll call back when I get it.
Okay, thanks, sir. Thanks. Bye-bye.
This man. Caller, good night. You're on air. Hello? Caller, good night. You're on air.
Press the side button.
Yes, good night. Go ahead. Hello?
Good night, gentlemen.
Go ahead.
Hello, good night.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, good night. First of all, Mr. Siraj, I want to congratulate you on your appointment, and I know you're going to be a very, very respectable leader.
Well, thank you very much for your vote of confidence. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just said congratulations on your appointment, and I know you're going to make us proud.
Right. Well, thank you
That's the
very much
first
for, as I said, thank you very much for your vote of confidence.
Yes. Secondly, I want to mention.
You got a problem with your phone, sir?
No, it's my phone is caller. Yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's not your problem. It's our problem.
Are you getting me?
Yes, we're hearing you now.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I visited 3 NDCs and I spoke with the chairman of these 3 NDCs, because one of the concerns all of the residents are mentioning is the garbage situation.
Correct.
Now, I've spoken to my NDC chairman at Monrepo La Reconnaissance. I had a nice conversation with him.
Correct.
And he explained to me that the problem is the laborers. He said, now we have the machinery, but we are not getting staff to work.
That's Mr. Jagroup?
Yes. You're not getting the staff, and then they come in and, they come when they want and they don't come, and then they leave halfway and blah, blah, blah. I've spoken with the chairman and some councillors, and like I said, 2 other NDCs. Now, I have a suggestion. I'm just thinking of something out loudly. Could we not put these people on the fixed establishment so they know they have to come to work at this time and leave at this time and have certain things done? The question is, the rate of pay that they are getting is another issue.
Right.
So if they go on the fixed establishment, at least they're going to get the government's minimum wage.
Right.
Right. And that would be more, they have to be more consistent. They have to sign in their time, sign out their time, and they know when they're entitled to their special leaves and what have you. That's one of my major concerns. I think we have to do something about paying these people adequately so that they can stay on the job.
Correct. And
all right.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your suggestion. And this labor shortage is bemoaned by a lot of people. People in the agriculture sector are crying out about it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a serious problem.
Mr. Siraj,
right.
I remember a few years ago, because we have the prison right at the back at Lusignan here.
Right.
We would normally get the prisoners to come out, but I know the issue was when one escaped.
Yes, you have these problems when one escape, the whole program you got to hold up.
The whole program,
Right, and then what they do is that they bring out low-risk prisoners, or prisoners who are scheduled to come out in 2 weeks' time. So there's no incentive to get away. But still they
get away.
Right, but some are still there get away. But definitely the level of pay for these people is a source of concern. There is an acute shortage of labor in the different sector, in construction, in painting, in building, in oil and gas, in driving, and all of that. You have an acute labor shortage. And there's
but
a lot of
it's something we want to look at, because it's a reflection, and people are saying, I'm a very fairly popular person in my community, and people are complaining to me, look, it's 4 weeks and the garbage is there, the dogs are pulling them, blah 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 blah. I try to talk to people.
It is indeed a problem that they try to address.
Yes, that's now. Secondly, Mr. Siraj, I have visited 2 Amerindian communities for the last 3 weeks, and I think we have some things to talk about. But I would probably call you afterwards and, share some of my personal concerns.
No problem at all.
All right?
Thank you very much.
Yes, so have a good evening, and say hi to Akash, my little son, and Mr. Kissoon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Right.
Good night, guys. Bye.
That call.
Right. So this garbage issue at the address, it's a problem along the East Coast.
Somebody just sent a message here to us. She said that she's from. She said, "Good night, gentlemen. The NDC haven't collected garbage in Lusiknan West for over 1 month now."
And that is exactly what this caller called about.
Hello.
Somebody just sent in there.
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air.
Yes, Freddie. Good evening.
Good evening.
You and Akash and
the High Commissioner and the High Commissioner.
I am an overseas Guyanese returned to Guyana here, recently retired. And I established myself, build up a home at Nomprel on the Kalinjin Road. And I am setting up a business, a mechanic business, tire shop business. One of my main concern is that you would know at the back of Nomprel Enterprise, they are building a new housing scheme.
Correct.
And that's good progress. I welcome that and I support that fully. But my concern is that I recently built this house here and this business, and the trucks that are transporting material to build that scheme at the back there.
You're shaking your house?
Shaking is not only one of the issue, is that it's cracking my fence, the tarmac I built is all fractured. Here goes one of them again here.
We have that I have that problem, so I live on the railway embankment. Things cracking.
But I talked to somebody in the Ministry of Public Works on the phone. Somebody gave me that number. I can't recall the individual. But in front of my property here, on the road, is a speed bump. Now, that bump is what is causing the shaking, because these guys, they don't slow down and they don't take their time over the bump. So the bump is causing more harm than good. Also, it's, sinking the road. I asked that the bump be removed and put a stop sign, because I am right at the junction on the Kalinjin Road, right? Where you go into the Kalinjin scheme, right over the railway embankment. And there is where they put the bump. They says no, if they remove one bump, then they will have everybody going to request to have bump removed. But, I spend millions and millions of dollars here. If you will probably know who I am, not personally, because we haven't met personally, but through politics and stuff way back in the early 80s, I am Harman Ali's brother. If you recall that name, Toronto, ACG. My name is Ahmad Ali.
Okay.
And, way back in the days when in WP and stuff in Toronto with Gail and all of us, we used to, congregate and discuss political issues and things. And so that is one of my concerns. If you have any influence or to share with the comrade, Mr. Dharamlal Siraj, that if he can look into this matter, because a lot of people are building here right now. And
Dharam Kumar Siraj.
Dharam Kumar. Sorry, sir.
Right.
I got that from.
Yeah.
I hope that's not a Freudian slip. Hope the man don't have a hammer.
All right, but definitely they have huge trucks now, and traversing at big speed.
Here goes another one, and in your bed, across the road there is a house under construction. The guy just left his bottle of water on the ledge while he was plastering on the veranda thing. And the two of them are plastering, and it's a lucky thing I was sitting, at my veranda, and the truck passed, and the vibration threw the water down, and one of them was accusing the other one that he threw away his water. I had to tell him, no, man, it's the vibration. I just saw the bottle fall off.
Right.
And just imagine that a bottle is water, a 2-liter bottle is water, right?
Right.
It is at least 150 feet away from the road be, where they're working, and that vibration through that water though.
Right,
like
right.
a mini earthquake every time one of these vehicles passes.
Okay, let's take some more calls, sir. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you guys a lot for your program, Freddie and
okay, then.
Akash and,
we got some calls coming in. Bye-bye.
All the best.
Okay, bye-bye.
Caller, good evening. You're live on air.
Hi, good evening. I just want to make one a suggestion or opinion. When a person actually get a contract to make a road, in a village or whatever, they should have a clause in the contract, for example, that they're warranted. Because a lot of people say when that road is built in the community, it break up. And they don't come. They don't come like punctually to They always say that the weather is bad. People come to the weather is good, but they don't come. They should have a clause in the contract. It's a simple thing that if you don't specification for the duration time to complete the contract is one, but you can be flexible if the weather is bad. If something happens, you could do that. Another thing is when you don't finish. And there are flaws in the road, like for example, a month or 2 months from now. They should get a clause in the contract that if the contractor, the warranty should be like a 5-year thing. If something happened within a 5-year, the contractor has to fix it on his own expense so that they will do a better job. I'm not saying it's a general thing, but it happens sometimes. You can hear people say that, And I was just thinking on that level. What do you think about that?
Well, this case is different. Actually, you're correct there. In contract management, if a contractor is executing a job in a particular area and he has to traverse through a particular road, there is a clause in the contract which states that at the end of your contract, you must leave the road in no worse condition than when you start with it. It is a clause in the contract. But what this call is talking about is not somebody, a contractor working there, but multiple persons doing job there, building houses and trucks running in and all of that. So it's a case whereby you have many different people who are involved in the construction business doing this job. And there's also there's a fixed contractor who might be there doing road works and all of that. But I know for sure that when a contractor is executing a job in any particular area, there is that clause in the contract that you must ensure that the access at the time you complete your job is no worse off than when you reach it. It means that if you damage it, you gotta fix it. It cannot be worse.
And then again, when the contractor finishes the job, you must at least get a warranty. You can't be breaking up from 1 or 2.
Well, every job got a contract, what they call a defects liability period. During the course of this period, and by the nature of the contract, the defects liability period can be different in terms of the amount of time, the amount of months or years. During the period of the defects liability period, anything goes wrong, the contractor has to fix it.
Yes.
That is also a standard part of in contract management.
Right, yes. Right. Yes, man. You did a good job. We appreciate so much that you come always on Freddie Kissoon Show, and you do the thing. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So we have a number of callers and what that's going on. Yes, they have. This gentleman has been trying to come in for quite a while.
Hello.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Good.
For the last several weeks, we've all been hearing complaints regarding the garbage pickup.
Right.
There's a simple form, in my opinion, of a peaceful protest. Let the president just dump the garbage in front of the RD and the NDC offices, and they'll pick it up then for sure.
Well, the garbage issue can be frustrating at times, and people might develop innovative and creative ways to let their frustration be known. Some of them go to the minister office and lodge a complaint. They go to the regional office and all of that. And different things, because you're right, this is not a problem that is surfacing now. You've had issues where the companies contracted to pick up the garbage, they don't do it, Right now, Georgetown will have that problem, and the contractors say they're not getting pay and all of that. The NDC, as was explained by a gentleman who called in, said that they have people work 2 days, they don't work the other 4 or 5 days. So you have an acute labor shortage, you have the machinery and equipment, and you don't have people to go and do it. And you know, this kind of job, people don't readily go to do these kinds of jobs. It's considered, you know, a low-paying job, and it's considered a job that you do when you don't have anything else to do. So there are a number of problems that you're faced with. And people also got to be careful how they manage their garbage. A lot of people dump garbage indiscriminatingly all over the place, and they're not tidy in what they do. So yes, they have different ways of expressing that frustration. And who knows, one day somebody might very well take their garbage and dump it in front of the chairman's house or the office of the NDC.
Yeah, that's quite
and that's when they'll find the labor and the money to get to dispose of garbage.
Well, sometimes you have the money and you can't find it. Right now, I know I'm being successful in getting some painters to work. The first man came, he worked 2 days and he left. He said he cousin got wedding. When the wedding done, he coming back.
Next year.
Right? Right, so I had to get somebody else to come there. And it's not the man getting $10,000 a day. You know? So there are different challenges.
To your right.
Right. So the government has expressed this concern that we need to get more people here to address this labor shortage. All right, thank you, caller, for coming in.
Somebody sent this picture in to us just now. They said this is at Sussex Street. Chateau's Land, the person said, Freddie.
Chateau's Land, yeah.
Sussex Street, Chateau's Land. So this is up.
You're not Sussex Street, sorry, near where the Tulsi Persaud place is. There is a big dumpster there where people can take their garbage.
You're right.
Call a good night, you're on the air.
Hello.
Yes, good night.
Hey, good night, guys. How are you doing tonight?
We are all right, man.
Oh, hey, Akash. Hey, Comrade Ambassador and Comrade Philosopher there. Thank you guys so much for taking my call. I started out with like 6 thoughts, but I'm going to reduce it to 3. First, today we are celebrating the preservation of democracy in Guyana, and I want to salute everyone, the defenders of democracy and all democracy-loving Guyanese on this very gallant effort to save our democracy. Today we see what's happening in Venezuela, and it's actually what we avoided. But that's good. I want to congratulate also the government.
The fourth anniversary of the new government.
On the 4th anniversary, yeah. This imagine if we had a government that was thrown upon us as a dictatorship for 4 years. You know what would have happened? Imagine what would Guyana be today. I fear to think about it, but I want to congratulate President Ali and his team, and for working. President Ali has given his heart and his soul to Guyana, and I want to congratulate it. And what was demonstrated at on the West Bank there, on the west coast of Berbice, is a true testimony that Guyanese. The dialect is making man today, right, Freddie? All right. I just want to go through there.
Not the dialect.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is and perhaps you may educate me on this here, Comrade Ambassador. We see the election case going on, and I was appalled this afternoon to read a very long statement from the opposition, attacking and condemning the vice president in his press conference for actually calling out what's going on. Guyanese, the opposition continues to insult the intelligence of Guyanese. We are all listening, we are all seeing, we are all hearing what the King's Council is saying, what's transpiring in court. On another note, I'm very surprised. A high-profile case in this, a national concern, is not being televised. Why can't the judiciary be transparent and put it out there so the whole country can see this, so we can be very fair in our assessment of what's going on there? The other thing is that, they came out today, the opposition should be the last one to comment on the fairness in the judiciary. And what's happening there, this case is, I'm sorry to say this case is going to end up in the the attempt rigging, I hate to say, I would not like to see that's happening in this trial. This case is ending up in the CCJ, but they have no integrity to condemn the vice president on commenting, which is the popular belief of, I would say, most Guyanese, of what's transpiring in the courts there. It's a disgrace. We need to avoid this to prevent, the shameful act, what people think of the judiciary in Guyana. And the last point I wanted to make, guys, is I'm very delighted to see the progress of Cemetery Road. That little kid with the wheelbarrow, I called the last time, and I think Minister Bishop Edgell heard our conversation, and I'm very pleased to say to see the progress.
I remember you, and I know your voice. You promised to give the guy. You promised to give the guy something. Did you give him?
He's getting a canter truck when he meets the age to drive. I promise this little guy. I'm gonna be in Guyana in September. I'm gonna try to make contact with one of you guys. Yeah. Freddie, I dropped you an email.
Akash, you're buying a canter truck for the guy.
The guy, that's done, my brother. All right, we gotta make this guy. We probably should name Cemetery Road after this kid here, whatever his name is, Cemetery Road is kind of a little frightening. The zombies are still, let's change it.
Cemetery Road, Zombie Road. That's really
all right, caller, thank you very much for coming through.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Right, so we have a person called in from the Green Hoop area complaining about low water pressure. So I have managed to get a response from GWI, and I hope the caller is still on the air listening to us. And that response is that at the well at Fellowship was down, affecting the water pressure in that area, that the well now is operational and the pressure should be better.
You see, I certainly have in my community too, from Green Hoop all the way to Schoonard, Parfleet, Harmony.
So they said, so the well at Fellowship was down. You see, they have these electric submersible motors that are very sensitive to power fluctuation. And when there is a fluctuation in the power, it can damage these electric motors.
Mr. Siraj, just last week someone had sent this to us from Hyde Park. Mike Coney, they said this is the condition of the road that they asked to show it to you also.
But there was excellent road there during the dry season, but as soon as the rainfall, you shouldn't be traversing on fair weather road. But everybody wants to go with a big tractor to do everything, even when the rain is falling. So then you have the deterioration.
Okay.
They're fair weather roads, they're not all weather roads.
Okay.
So it will deteriorate if you drive your tractors in it during the rainfall. Caller, good night, you're on the air.
Hello?
Good night, you're on the air.
Good night, sir. Here's a guy from GWI, right?
Right.
Yeah, the vice chairman of the board.
Good. You're the vice chairman. I would like to know what is going on in the west bank of the Warman, from Green Hoop to Good Fortune.
Right. I just reported, Akash is affected too. The well at Fellowship was down. That well now has been put back into operation, and the water pressure on the west bank within that capture area, the pressure should be improving as we speak.
Okay, because what had happened Wednesday night, they posted up on the page that the water restore at 10 p.m. But up till this morning, 6 o'clock when I'm leaving to go to work, wasn't no water in the system. So
well,
since I see what was trying getting onto the program for talk, because I hear Freddie Kissoon said you'll be receiving calls.
Yes, so I got somebody calling earlier, and I asked the GWI person, and they reported only about 5 minutes ago that the Fellowship well was down. They had some issues there. It's up and running now, and there should be improvement in the water pressure there.
All right, the next thing, one more point I want to raise. There is a street in Good Fortune here. I don't know, the president went here a year ago, last year, May. He went to the Good Fortune Community Center ground, and the engineer from Ministry of Public Works went and visited the streets. Me went with the engineer them, and I showed them what need to be done and what got to be done. And I don't know the contractor, the road started, the drain started,
And I hear Freddie saying that you're a part of the local government body. So this contractor dig out the drain, put in the steel rod right through the drain, out to side, and they leave it like that. There is elderly people, there is children at home now, school closed.
And what's the name of this street, caller?
In Albion Good Fortunes, the squatting area part, but it's not a squatting area. Is the place developed? Not a squatting area anymore.
So
but
the street don't have a name.
Come through 2 Mile.
2 Mile Street.
So the contractor left the thing like that up to now?
Yeah, the contractor come and carry away the machine and so on. So the steel is up. The whole place the whole road in a mess. I would love if I could send the picture to.
Send the picture.
You have pictures right now? You have pictures right now?
One of those 2 WhatsApp numbers. Yeah.
But caller, you're saying that the street. You're saying that the street named 2 Mile Street?
Yeah, you could come in 2 Mile, but when you come in 2 Mile, you gotta take a left. And when you take the left, you gotta take a right. The first car when you come in the right there in that street. They did one in the street and then left back one. But I don't know if there is issue with the contractor because the contractor wasn't able to complete the work.
Send the picture. Send the picture to the same WhatsApp number.
Okay, we have to elevate this issue to the Public Works Ministry.
Because what I want to do is I want to just send the picture so you could see the steel and the machine that park on the road, and they leave a lot of stone and sand.
You have it in your phone right now?
Send the picture.
Yeah, and I send it to Akash.
Send it right now. Send it right now. Good.
And thank you for highlighting this issue.
Somebody says, I'd be grateful if we can highlight that just how how they're doing how they have 3 lanes in Demerara Harbour Bridge going over and three lanes in the morning coming over. They're asking if East Coast now could get this from Sheriff Street to Monrepo because of the traffic situation in the East Coast now.
Well, you see on the East Bank, they have the Heroes Highway taking over some of that traffic.
Right.
And on the East Coast, you have the railway embankment. It's actually a very good suggestion. I had raised it some time ago with the traffic chief, the possibility of running 3 lanes in the morning coming into town and 3 lanes in the afternoon going out of town. So it's a suggestion that we can raise again.
Good evening, Carly. You're live on air.
Hi, good day. I'm listening to the program at Diaspora. I have some key questions to ask Siraj and Dr. Kissoon. Some of the key question is one, in relating to the garbage in the city and other places. Is it that the local government minister has consulted these mayors within these different municipalities whereby they could develop strategic plans in terms of how they could modernize these municipalities and also how they could get rid of these garbage? And if it is a political issue, why those mayors, probably on whichever side, could come on Freddie Kissoon show and they could resolve the issue? There's one. 2, Guyana is heading more to an economy that have a lot of foreign investors. What strategies you all have to reduce the increase in mosquitoes? I saw Germany came up with strategies how to get rid of mosquitoes. Because in the other islands, people don't sleep with nettings. They don't sleep with net. So what strategy you all have to get rid of mosquitoes so that foreign investors from the developed country could feel welcome as how they are similar to their country? Another question is that in terms of the roads, I saw the bill highways to Providence, etc. Where is the billboards across the highway that would show you direction 30 km left into Bagaston, 50 km right to Tumiri? Where is the highway billboard so that when you're using those highway and Providence, the new highway, you wouldn't be peeping in terms of where you have to turn? You must have highway billboards to show you direction going straight to Tumiri.
So where is the billboard set up for those highways? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming through there, caller. Some loaded questions, but you know, garbage is of concern. It's not only the city, town clerks, it's also the regions, the REO, it's also the NDC, with the NDC chairman and the overseer and all of that. So within the local government structures, you have that kind of levels. You have the NDC, you have the RDC, and then you have in the urban centers the mayors and the town clerk with the councillors who are supposed to be governing these places. I know for a fact that the two ministers of local government have been engaging the overseer and chairpersons of the NDCs, the REO, the regional executive officer, and the chairperson, the council of the RDC, and as a matter of fact, also the mayor and town clerk of the different municipalities to address this question of garbage. And again, you have a number of problems arising. One has to do with labor shortage, has to do with contractors not getting paid, and then some of the town councils will report also that the rates, their rate collection is very poor, and to take measures to collect rates. So these are some of the measures that they are taking to address the garbage issue. These new highways will also be let's take this call and then we'll get back to your question.
Hello? Hello?
Hi, good night.
Good night.
We got this garbage thing we'll be talking about, right? Garbage is a problem all over the world. So we got to find some strategy if we got for build back the incinerator or some kind of thing. Being one, the EPA, but the EPA just got to be got on this garbage, especially them box and thing, and just leave the tins and the bottles out. Because if the America got a garbage problem. All right. Number two. You listening?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Number two, we got people on trial for some election fraud. We see this thing point blank on the TV, we see it on the video, we see this thing all about. These people is guilty. We got to try these people again. Send these people to China.
No, Saul. You could comment on the case. You can't do that.
No,
the matter is the matter is front of the court. Saul.
These people guilty.
Can be
Saul, the matter is in front of the court. You can't say the people are guilty. By law, the media cannot get into.
You see this thing? Which law coming with some forensic thing that these people are not guilty and they're not guilty? You see this thing?
You cannot say that the matter is in front of the court. You will get us in trouble.
Come on, I don't know.
Right, please.
All right, let me talk about the teachers now.
They are under trial to establish whether they're guilty or not.
All right, let me say. All right, I know they're guilty.
I too old to get charged now, Saul. See Raj?
I get charged, right?
See Raj and Akash.
Me?
I'm leaving.
Not me.
Like all in America. All right, let's show now the teachers. We got a problem with teachers and they're going for teacher children. Now you telling me that some of these teachers don't even have maths and English. The two things in when I did coming up, and you know that Mr. Kissoon. Yeah, then for working with the white people time you have to get maths and English.
I would rather suspect now too, if you don't have maths and English, you should not be seen as a qualified teacher.
Well, it's not what I'm saying. And some of them row in and they this and they that, and then you telling me that this union and these teachers, the union was illegal and I wonder if they put their house in order.
Well, let's hope that they put their house in order. A number of deficiencies were highlighted. You know, when people quarrel, they say the dirty linen is out there for all to see.
We got 4 minutes more. Let's take some more calls.
Right.
Thanks for coming in.
Caller, good evening. You're live on air.
Hey, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, I would like to raise a few issues, man.
Go ahead quickly.
The first one is that, okay, we are looking at the garbage in Georgetown. Can the government at any time,
Georgetown and
whoever is in power, can rule all the 10 regions? Instead of you get PNC rule 1, PPP rule 1, have a lot of problem within themselves. I think they should have changed the constitution, make the constitution that which government is in power, let them run the city and all the municipality in the country, so that you would not get no dictatorship or real racism or anything.
Well, caller, you got to remember it was like that before, and then the Constitution would have gone through some amount of changes, and then there were a decentralization of power. In the process of decentralizing power, you have the establishment of these structures, namely the Neighborhood Democratic Council. We used to call them Village Office Council before. And then you have the Regional Democratic Council, and then you have the municipalities. These are ways of decentralizing power and moving more towards self-governance and building institutional support and all of that. So it's a given an opportunity for people to build their capacity to manage. The government of the day does have oversight, where they can make appointments and all of that, and ultimately hold responsibilities for the management of all these structures. And although you might have a case whereby an opposition party wins in a locality, in a region, or in a municipality, and they govern, but they don't govern in isolation of the government itself. The government also have some amount of oversight, and from time to time they also provide budgetary support for all councils, all regions, and all municipalities. And matter of fact, let's take Region 4 for example. Region 4 gets all its resources from central government to execute their program. And Region 4 is managed by the region was won by the opposition, but not because it was won by the opposition, they will not get budgetary support from the government. The government has an obligation to provide the support that they give to the other regions.
Yeah, but if they want to put pressure on the government, they just don't do the job. And it look bad in the present government.
Well, if they don't do their job, the next time around people will not vote for them.
No worry, that one.
Okay. All right.
The other thing, I would like to congratulate you on your new job. And
thank you very much.
Hope you're not gonna mind that like the previous one.
No, I'm doing enough of that right home here.
Yes. If there's anything, you can leave it with Freddie to take care.
Yeah. Freddie is indeed a dog person, a very kind person to handle.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Right. So before we take any other call, we also had called in about this matter with the new highway. And indeed, as these highways come under construction, some signs are going up. I would be the first to admit that the signs are not keeping pace with the level of roadworks that are being done. And if you're new to an area, you can get lost easily. True. And the caller made a very good point there that they should, like overseas, you should see before that in 5 kilometers you can exit Houston, or in 10 kilometers you can exit Grove. There are some of these signs there, but they are totally inadequate. And as you know, they will get up to speed, I suspect, in the near future.
I just want to say this thing quickly. Someone sent in this photograph. She said that she went to sit under the tree because she was very tired and wanted to get a bottle of water to drink. And the person there told her he's building those things, move from there. And she said she was chased. She went and sat under the coconut tree over here. But other people went and sit and they weren't moved.
So who chased her?
Somebody who's there looking after the benches. So
they must be collecting a freck also for you to cheer.
I don't think they have an official sitting down in the men. Maybe some weirdo sitting down there and probably chased her. I don't think it's no one in authority.
This is what we're around Camp Street.
Camp Panama.
Oh yes, maybe it's a lot of some of the homeless people are always there. In that
said she got
vagrant. Yeah, she should have picked up a piece of wood and deal with it.
We got to go. Akash, we got to go. So just one call. So I'm going to count to 10, and if there's no call, Akash will have his wrap up. and the High Commissioner, and we'll close off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's a call.
Nearly knocked out.
We have one last call.
Yeah, we're calling in on the Freddie Kissoon show.
So that's a personal call. So that's it. We gotta go. Akash, is there anything you want to say?
I just want to say, look, take care on the roads. Too many accidents every day. You wake up, you check the news, it's accidents, man. Guys just drive. I see a video today. A truck ran into the back of another truck and he got pinned. So it's so sad, but drive safe, everybody. That's all I can say.
Mr. High Commissioner?
Oh, yeah. There was a question posed earlier in terms of the job and all of that. And I must say that Commonwealth country appointing their representative into another Commonwealth country, they call High Commissioners. The High Commissioners are representative of the government. They're there to facilitate trade cooperation, political cooperation, cultural cooperation. They're there for integration. They're there to harness whatever is good in that country to bring it to their country, and in any way possible to enhance cooperation in all aspects. Let's say India, for example, they're big with IT and all of that, so you'd want to see some of that coming over here. They're strong in the medical field. So a High Commissioner job basically is to represent the interests of his government and his people, and to ensure...
Could not have choose a better man then.
You want anything you have to say? We're over 2 minutes.
Right.
You don't want to violate the industrial rights of the operator.
No, not at all. Just
not
that,
exploiter.
No, just at all that I want to thank the callers who got in, and I want to apologize also for those who did not get an opportunity to get their calls in.
Well, we hope we keep seeing you before you go to India. When you go to India and you come back, please bring a nice what's quarter for me?
Definitely.
But you're going to be with us sometime before you go away. But we hope you're here. You come here before you go away. This has been our Friday edition of the Freddie Kissoon Show with co-host Akash Persaud and our frequent co-host guest, Dharam Kumar Siraj, Member of Parliament, Advisor to the Ministry of Local Government, and the Vice Chairman of the Board of GWI. And whenever he's here, we hope some problems are solved because he has his notebook and he takes his note. And I was told after the program, he made contacts with these people. So we wish he would come here as often as possible before he takes that flight to New Delhi. Thanks for being with us. We will definitely see you on Monday for our interview program. As I normally say, catch you later. Bye-bye, man.